Well, hello again, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and grab up my floor wire. Yeah, I know it's a mess. I ain't even gonna use it today. I've got other ways to show you. Some little modeling clay and some plain old polyfiber, which I got. Oh, there it is. And we're gonna make a couple of trees. I'm also gonna grab out a scruff pad, and I'll show you how to make a different kind of tree with this, as well as, of course, some fine ground foam and some hairspray. See you in a minute. And first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut your floor wire into strips. These strips are about 6 to 7 inches long, which is more than fine. Alright, then we go ahead and take two of them together and twist them like so. I'm going to grab one for now, but I still need another branch off of that. The two at first is just basically so that way you got a main trunk. I'm going to use a bamboo skewer. You know, it really doesn't matter what you use, but you line up your two ends. Go ahead and clamp them together. You know, I'm using a pair of needle nose pliers that are bent, but it really doesn't matter. All right. I'm trying to do this to where you can see on the camera, but it's just basically twisting it around till you get a nice and tight one. I'm going to adjust this camera. Hold on a second. Right, there we go. And just basically keep twisting until it's nice and tight. Alright. This will work in any scale. I'd say if you're going in HO, it'd probably be a little easier to use foot-long wire to start with, and that'll give you a tree that's about 6 inches tall. Alright. You just hold it straight and keep twisting. Alright. I'm not even going to finish that because that just takes too long. Alright. So you wind up with a main trunk, which is two wires used at the same time in that twisting process, and a branch. Alright, branch is a little thinner than the main trunk. I make 12 little branches for every main trunk. Come up and you twist them together again. Make something like that. And I put them all back on a bamboo skewer and twist them again. First thing I do is bend out the roots. Alright, so you got a nice little root structure there. Next thing I do, once I got it all nice and twisted and going together just fine, take my flush cutters. I start with the outside two first. Alright. Once they're cut through, just slip them out right where they're at. Just like so. And then I just grab my pliers again, grab a hold of this main trunk, and give it about another half of a twist, like so. Then cut again. I'm going to finish this one up, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I'm doing the rest of the way. Alright? So, alright, by the time you're done, you wind up with something that looks like this. And yeah, I know it's got a bunch of little claw hooks on there, alright, all over the place. It's actually a good thing, and I'll show you why. After we get finished with that, we'll go ahead and take our white glue and put it over on top of those hooks. Alright. I'd say keep a piece of styrofoam sitting around somewhere so that way you get a hold of it. Huh? Alright. I got glue running all over the place. Just fine, because I found the more white glue you use on something like this, the better. Alright. Let me set this down for a second. Wipe my fingers off. Alright. I'm going to take some polyfiber, I don't need nowhere near that much. Alright, just go ahead and crumple it together and then spread it out as thin as you can get it. Alright. You bring back your tree. You just stretch it over. Alright, all those hooks wind up grabbing on in. Alright. And there you go. You got your multitude of thousands of little branches right there just in that polyfiber. So all you're doing is fooling the eye. The eye sees all these little itty bitty hair-like fibers and they go, hey, it looks like a tree limbs right there. Alright. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this modeling clay. Now this is not the drying modeling clay. This is always going to be soft. And I like that for the simple fact is if I ever need to rearrange my trees or something, I can always go back in and fix my trees. You know, I like them when they stay soft, because if I ever want to repose my branches or anything else, make it look a little bit better to me, I can do that. Some like the drying clay where, you know, once it sets up, they're fine. You know, they never have to really worry about it again. If you move your scenery around though, you wind up with gaps between the roots and everything else. And you have to remake some trees from time to time because clay will crack and everything else. I'm trying to stay on camera, I'm sorry. But that's really all there is to it, and just slap the clay on there. Once you get the clay on there and up the trunk enough that you don't think you'll see it. You know, this is N scale, so there's a lot you really don't see. Alright. Once you've done that much of it, you come back in with a toothpick, or I'm going to use a bamboo skewer this time, because I think I forgot my toothpicks. And you can just carve right on in, as long as you're going down with the trunk. And out with the roots. The more force you put on it, the deeper the groove lines will be. That's all there is to it. I like to go nice and light, and as I'm going nice and light, eventually it just gets heavy enough. So let's see if you guys can see that. On camera, focus. There you go. Alright, I'll be right back with the finishing touches. Finishing touches behind you, and I forgot to do something. Alright, this is a Scotch Brite pad, I guess you could call it. It's really just a scour pad. You can get them pretty cheap anywhere. Basically just cut down to strips, each strip just a little thinner than the last. And I'm sorry, my neighbor's setting off fireworks, so it's going to get a little noisy. And don't ask me why he's setting off fireworks, I have no idea. He's just a pain in the rear end. Alright. I found that in N scale about 2 a piece of each is more than enough. Alright. Just get them reasonably square. They don't have to be perfect. Alright. You get down to the thinner ones, make 3. Alright. And you can just use them as squares, it really doesn't matter. Alright, take your bamboo skewer and push it right on up in there. Alright, leave a little bit of a space between them. That always winds up looking a little bit better, because pine trees have little gaps in between the branches. It's just basically like making a shish kebab. You can always come back and trim it later. I've already got one trimmed. I'm just trying to give you guys the idea of what I'm trying to do. Alright. Leave a little bit at the very top and just wiggle them down and give them some space. And there you go. That's about a 8-inch pine tree, which in N scale is about 90 feet tall. I've already got some prepped already, because you're going to want to glue those and let them dry overnight. Now this is where the trick comes in, and this is where I'm going to be setting up to show you. Alright, well, my preferred glue, yeah, I'd love to be using this right now, but this is my second can. My wife likes to use it, even though she's got her own. So guess what I gotta use now? Women, tell you, sometimes they can get on your nerves. Alright, well, I'm not even sure how well this is going to work, but that's what I got, and I don't really feel like running to the store right now. Alright. As I was saying, I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm sorry about that delay. Camera shut off on me. Alright. But basically, this is how I've made my trees. Alright, there you go. And if you do the same thing on the pine tree, turns out just as good. Alright. Like I said, if the roots ever lose that detail or anything else, you can just go ahead and retouch them right back up. But that's it. That's how I make my trees. And I figured out just sit there and give you that tip.